We have Justin Chancellor, bass player from Tool, on the phone. Got a big show taking place in San Bernardino this Saturday. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. Really good. Just getting to the end of a month of touring and looking forward to Saturday.
Yes. And so let's just jump right into it. We've read the reports that all four of you guys are finally in the studio working on the new material. Has this re-energized the band, or is it business as usual?
No, it really is an evolving thing, you know, and being out the last couple of weeks, being on the road and playing together this year, we've really kind of hit a new level, I'd say. I'm really excited to be around each other, and we're going to, you know, just bang it out when we get back home. We're ready to go with the album.
So all the parts are pretty much already written out. You just got to put them together.
Yeah, we're about 90% there. You know, it's been like a crazy science project, kind of like a Petri dish. So we've just been, you know, really picky over what we want to put on this new album, and really want to come up with something completely unique, you know. And plus we have endless amounts of material to sift through, so it's just been a process, been a little different from last time.
Right, it has been like 11 years since 10,000 Days, so picky, I think, is an understatement, right?
11,000 years, yeah.
And how did the whole let's make a new album process begin? Like, who called who, and how did it all come together?
Well, you know, you get through one cycle, you write an album, which takes, obviously, years. Then you tour it for a few years. And basically you get to the end of that, take a break, and decide if you want to carry on, you know what I mean? People have other interests, and everyone has little side projects. People have families, you know, other hobbies and stuff. So you really need to give each other time to pursue all that stuff. And then also, you know, figure out if you all still want to hang out and create together. Because, I mean, people change, you know, relationships evolve, and sometimes you need to take longer breaks, you know.
Mm-hmm. And that was pretty much my next question. All four of you have remained intact since 1995, and that's not easy. What do you see as the key to the band's longevity?
Taking your time,
right?
Patience, and you know, I mean, there's really something to be said for taking that time and giving each other space, and when, you know, perhaps when people need to do something else and to breathe life into something else, they give them that time and space to do that, you know, rather than just trying to force the same thing over and over again and just be like a machine, you know. I think that's really a reason that a lot of bands implode. You know, they're just really sick of each other. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And people change and grow, and sometimes people grow apart. You know, in our case, sometimes we've grown apart, but we've kind of let that happen and then come back together and come back as different people. And I think that's a really healthy thing for the music. You know, it's going to have experience in there and different, you know, some different colours from life. So and hopefully it'll be productive. You know, the waiting and the time spent pursuing other things.
Mm-hmm. And you guys are all pretty much at the top of your game when it comes to being musicians. So I could definitely see why you would have to pursue other interests. And how many times have you pursued another interest, and all of a sudden you're like, wait a minute, this other interest has aspects that would work in Tool as well?
Oh, well, there's sort of an unwritten rule that we basically, if we share something with each other, then it belongs to Tool. So, you know, if we come up with riffs or beats or words, and they're part of our community, then they stay there. So when we go off and do other projects, it's like everything is from scratch with the other, you know, with the other person we're working with. So there's not really much grey area like that. But the one definitely inspires the other.
Mm-hmm. And when you're in the recording studio, like when you're getting back in the recording studio and you're getting ready to record this new album, what's the goal? Is it just trying to make the best album possible, or is it you guys trying to top yourself, top your last release?
Well, I don't personally. I'm not really into. I don't really believe that there's a rating or a competitive side to it like that. We want to come up with something original that we've never heard. That's my approach. It's something that we've never heard before. Obviously, something that we're all happy with and excited by. But I mean, in the end, recording an album is really it's a pretty tough compromise in a way, because you've got this live piece of music, and obviously we're always changing it. Hence the time taken writing. You're constantly finding different paths you can go down. So when it comes to recording the album, you're really sort of going, all right, at this point in time, we're just going to stop and say that's how it's going to be recorded in history, and then you do your best to capture it and squeeze this massive thing into little digital bits or little CDs,
I got you.
So it's challenging.
Oh, there's no doubt in my mind it's challenging. And that was one thing you were talking about, how you guys get together and you're always trying to make something that hasn't been heard before. But yeah. I don't think there's a lot of bands out there that follow that same mantra, because I hear so many bands nowadays that are taking things that you guys did and they're applying it to their music. Now, granted, it's not, some people would hear, oh, it's just a little part, no big deal. But to me, I mean, you got to give credit where credit's due.
Well, that's a great compliment. And I would have to say that we're aware of our own inspiration, our own people that inspire us, we can hear the references in our music too. It's almost unavoidable. If you listen to other people's music, it's somehow going to work its way into your own creations, But I think, the originality comes from four of us contributing to that creative process, instead of, I think a lot of situations, there tends to be a ringleader and someone who conducts and controls most of the direction and the ideas. And with us, it's another reason it takes so long. The four of us just battling it out, and all of us trying to get their point of view across. And in the end, you get something that is far greater than one individual's take on it.
Mm-hmm. And Tool is one of those bands where people obviously want to. We all want to hear the hits, but you guys are so good that if you don't play one of your hits, like Schism, for example, people won't be disappointed, which is a luxury some bands just can't afford. You guys seem to like to play the songs you want to play instead of feeling forced to crank out the hits. Is that an accurate assessment?
Yeah, I mean, there's certainly when I go and see a band that I love, I want to hear maybe certain songs, but I also want to hear them be creative, and I want to see a show that's moving and alive. And I think a lot of that's our bread and butter, playing live. It's like the recording and writing music affords us that luxury, to go out and play live. But that's really where we thrive, is on the stage together, which we've been enjoying this month massively. So I don't know. I think it's a privilege to be able to kind of be allowed to be creative in front of our audiences. We're not going to get booed off the stage for experimenting.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. I mean, as an artist, that's got to be so refreshing instead of just having to do the same set list over and over again.
It's amazing. I mean, obviously, you need a certain amount of an outline, but then we have massive areas where we can improvise. And Danny especially, he changes stuff every night. I'm always looking over my shoulder again. What the hell? But yeah, it's wonderful to be able to do that for sure.
And Justin, final question here. There are Tool cover bands that make good money playing your songs and using the same concepts that you use for performances. Do you see that and go, write your own music, or do you view that imitation of you guys as a pinnacle of success that only the best bands get to experience?
Again, it's a massive compliment, and I know exactly what you're talking about. I've checked it all out on YouTube. I get quite a kick out of watching it. But you know what? Each to their own. If that's what you want to do. I know a lot of people that like playing other people's songs. It just was never something that came to me. You know, like I've always wanted to create something new. I've always wanted to come up with something original, and to actually do that and legitimately play it in front of a crowd of thousands of people is kind of crazy. You know, you feel really, really driven by that.
Right, and let me just speak on behalf of Tool Nation everywhere. We appreciate those tasty licks you're giving us, Justin, so thank you.
Oh, no, thank you. You're so welcome. And I'm really looking forward to Saturday.
All right, man. Justin Chancellor, bass player for Tool, thank you so much. Be on the lookout for this new album. When do you think it would drop approximately?
I can't say.
Okay. All right. That's pretty much it, man. Well, thank you so much for the phone call.
All right. Thanks, mate. Appreciate it.
Take care, buddy.